Notre pays produit suffisamment de quoi nous nourrir. Nous pouvons dépasser même notre production, malheureusement. Par manque d'organisation, nous sommes encore obligés de tendre la main pour demander des aides alimentaires. Ces aides alimentaires qui nous bloquent, qui nous inspirent, qui installent dans nos esprits cette habitude, ces réflexes de mendiants, d'assister. Nous devons mettre de côté ces aides par notre grande production. Il faut réussir à produire plus. Produire plus. Produire plus parce que il est normal que celui qui vous donne à manger vous dicte également ses volontés. Ne consommons que ce que nous contrôlons. Il y en a qui demandent mais où se trouve l'impérialisme. L'impérialisme, regardez dans vos assiettes quand vous mangez les grains de riz, de maïs, de mil importés. C'est ça l'impérialisme. N'allez pas plus loin. N'allons pas plus loin. Qui ici ne souhaite pas que la dette soit purement et simplement effacée? Celui qui ne le souhaite pas.
Today we are talking about Burkina Faso and Mali. Burkina Faso and Mali are two big giants in West Africa. Yes. Over the past weeks, they have proposed a federation which they want to combine their productivity and then become a powerhouse in West Africa. And I think it is very, very applaudable. So let's get on. But before we get on and go deeper into what was said when they both met, I want to take you through a brief history about these two countries, Burkina Faso and Mali. So we start. Burkina Faso is a landlocked country in Western Africa. It has a population estimate of about 22.8 million. As a former French colony, it gained its independence as Upper Volta in 1960. The name Burkina Faso means the land of incorruptible people, which was adopted on 4th August 1984 by Thomas Isidore Noel Sankara. That's a name. Its capital is Ouagadougou. That's a little bit about Burkina Faso. Now let's talk about Mali. Mali is also a landlocked country in West Africa. It shares a boundary with Burkina Faso to the southeast. It is the 8th largest country by land in Africa. It has a population of 21.9 million. Its capital is Bamako. Mali was once a giant of Africa. Yes, that is where we have Mansa Musa. That is where we have Mansa Musa coming from. So you know Mali is a very, very big giant in Africa. We're going to talk about this in another video. But in the late 19th century, during the scramble for Africa, which is also known as Berlin Conference, the French seized control of Mali, making it French Sudan. They joined forces, with Senegal to form a federation in 1959 and gained independence in 1960. Both countries are rich in the production of livestock. Burkina Faso and Mali are very rich in the production of livestock like cattle, sheep, goats, and they are also very rich in the production of gold. Mali, for instance, is the 4th largest with 63.4 tons of gold, while Burkina Faso ranks 5th with 45 tons of gold production in Africa. So you see, when these two giants combine their forces together, they are going to be a powerhouse and they are going to dictate on the market. Okay, so this is very, very applaudable, and I think we should talk about it now. let me give you a little example of why Mali and Burkina Faso are on the right path. One, both countries has expelled the French military or their colonial master out of their country, because they've been there ever since the jihadists started, but there is no improvement. So they said, okay, fine, let's go, let's leave us, let's do our thing. Okay, so now let's go on. But before we go on, I would urge you to subscribe and also leave your comment on anything that you want us to talk about, or maybe if you have an idea, if you have something to say about the video so far, please leave a comment. Now let's go on. This is an article from africanews.com. Yes, I'm taking it from Africa News because it is one of the authentic news hub for Africans. Now, Burkina Faso's Prime Minister visited the Malian counterparts. Okay, so they had a discussion, and the Burkina Faso's president, the junta, the military leader of Burkina Faso, proposed something. It has been there already. It started, but it was a stillborn. But then he wanted to, reignite it and then bring it back again. Okay, so let's read what the man said. Burkina Faso's Prime Minister, in a visit to neighboring Mali this week, has suggested the two countries form a federation to boost their economic clout. His office said, both nations are battling jihadist insurgencies and are run by juntas who have turned away from France, the former colonial ruler. That is what I just told you. Quote, we could create a flexible federation that would be mutually reinforcing and respect the aspiration of both sides. Prime Minister Apollinaire Kailem, I don't know. Apollinaire Kailem de Tambela said, according to an official account of the visit published by his office on Thursday. This is what the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso said. Now, let's move on. Mali is a major producer of cotton, cattle, and gold. Burkina Faso also produces cotton, cattle, and gold. Kailem de Tambela said during the trip on Tuesdays and Wednesday. So long as we each take separate paths, we don't have much clout. And that's very true. But if you put Mali's and Burkina Faso's production of cotton, gold, and cattle together, it becomes a powerhouse. That is very, very sensible. Don't you think so? Because if each of them goes on a separate path, they don't get much clout, they don't get much money. But if they all come together and put their production together and sell it as one people, as one country, they can dictate, they can also say, fine, if you're not buying it, we're going. But then, if the buyer comes and say, I want to buy that of Burkina's and Mali's, and Burkina say, okay, I'm selling it to you at a certain price, and the buyer says, no, I can't buy it, you can go lure Mali, okay? But then if they come together, this happened with Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. They joined forces and then sold their cocoa together, okay? So the buyer couldn't dictate for them, and that is very, very good. So now let's continue. Kailem de Tambela referred to a past effort to forge a federation in Francophone West Africa, a stillborn bid to bring together Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, and Benin shortly before they gained independence from France in 1960, which means this thing has been there. It has already been proposed, but then it didn't happen. Okay. Our forefathers tried to create groupings like the Mali Federation, which sadly did not last, but they showed us the way, he said. One of my reasons for going to Mali is that for a long time we've been looking elsewhere for solutions that they are not often right under our noses. He continued. The two landlocked Sahel countries rank among the poorest and the most volatile nations in the West, in West Africa or in the world, and have experienced few periods of calm since independence. You see, this is very, very sad. This is very, very sad. Since independence, they have received few period of calm, peace, because day in, day out, over the years, there's some insurgencies, some unrest and things going on. And this is very, very sad. So if they join forces, because they share borders, if they join forces and come together, they can face these jihadists. And mind you, if you look deeper, you will know where these jihadist insurgencies is coming from. That is another topic to talk about. Both nations have expelled France or French forces, frustrated by failure to defeat the militant insurgency. Kailen de Tambela hailed the genuine revolution he said had taken place in Mali since Colonel Assimi Goïta seized power in 2020. So on the Malian side is Colonel Assimi Goïta. That's a good name. Anyone who reads about Africa knows this name, Colonel Assimi Goïta. He seized power in 2020, and ever since they've been fighting head on with the insurgents. Now, I think I'll end for here. But one thing that caught my mind, that made me do this video, is that the federation that has been proposed is very, very applaudable. It is feasible. It can happen if they put their mind to it. I plead on these two leaders to carry on with whatever they have planned. Okay, it will be very, very important. It will set as a pace. It will also give them the power that they want, and also set the pace for other African countries to follow. This is very, very, very important because we all want one Africa. And if two countries have started, I think other countries should come on board. We have Senegal, Niger around, Burkina themselves, Benin, Togo, Ghana, any other country. This thing is very, 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 very important. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the plug. And as you know, we give you the best and we want Africa to be one. Nkrumah said, Africa must unite now or never. Thank you.